We spent the last year living in Airbnbs while full-time traveling, and it went a little bit like this. We've gotten to see countries like Germany, Greece, and Peru, and we've really gotten to experience the good, bad, and the ugly of living full-time in Airbnb. Before we get into that, you might be asking yourself, how does someone afford to travel full-time? Well, it's really not that much more expensive than living in an apartment in a major city or in a place like Chicago or Philadelphia or Miami. How we're able to do this is we utilize Airbnb's long-term function. So on their website, if you go to their long-term website, or even if you just go to their regular website and look for stays that are longer than 28 days, hosts on Airbnb can opt to mark down stays that are 28 days or longer, and it really makes it like a rent price. I really hate to give a price range of like what you can expect by traveling full-time, because it really does vary so much depending on the place that you're visiting. But if I had to give an average, I would say the Airbnbs that we're staying in typically fall between $1,000 and $2,000. If we're talking about the average rent in the entire United States, I think it really is comparable to that. This is also with typically never staying in a room in Airbnb. We always either stay in an apartment or a house with the places that we're visiting. On top of that discount that the host can provide for staying 28 days or longer, you can also reach out to the host depending on occupancy or seasonality and see if there's any further discounts that they're willing to give. If you're visiting a place like Canada and it's like in the weird season from November to December, some people will be willing to mark down their stays, or anywhere in the world off season, people will be willing to mark down their stays because not as many people are traveling there, and you would like to travel there and they want to fill their apartment or their house, and that's another way that you can get discounts on Airbnb. We've definitely taken advantage of that a few times and have been able to get pretty nice places for a great deal. Now, this type of living does not come without challenges. We spend an absorbent amount of time researching where we're going, how much do flights cost, how much do Airbnbs cost, where do we even want to go, what activities they have to do there that we both enjoy, and Kaylee really takes on the brunt of this research, so shout out to Kaylee. There's also the unknown of what you'll be getting. Pictures and descriptions can only go so far in telling you what exactly the area looks like or what the building looks like, and we've definitely encountered places that aren't what they seemed. It's definitely a gamble in taking Airbnbs that you've never been at, especially if you go against what the comments say. If the consensus in the comments or the reviews is that the host does not communicate well, this might not be a place that you want to be living for an entire month if something were to happen, or if you were to have an emergency. That is definitely something to keep in mind when you're booking Airbnbs. But that's also not to say that if an Airbnb does not have any reviews, do not go for it. We've had great stays where we were actually the first people to stay in an Airbnb. Reach out, communicate with them, and you can see for yourself how well the host communicates and what their expectations are. When you're traveling full-time, what has worked for us is we have a few non-negotiables that we put on any type of search for accommodations. We aren't that picky, so our list might be different than yours, but one of our top ones is fast Wi-Fi speeds, as Kaylee's also working and I am working, so we need fast Wi-Fi to be able to do our jobs. We have had a few times where the Wi-Fi isn't what has been expected. We were able to get through that. Sometimes we had to move Airbnbs to a completely new one, and then other times it was just fast enough that we could scrape by, but it wasn't ideal. But this is just something to keep note when you're looking for accommodations. Airbnbs are definitely not all the same, and some provide a lot of different accommodations than others, so definitely look into that list of amenities on Airbnb. Don't underestimate the distance it's going to take to get to the grocery store from your Airbnb. We have done this a few times and it's made us use Ubers to get to the grocery store, and the fees have definitely added up. So this is one thing that is a non-negotiable for us. Again, we love being close to a grocery store in case we need to run out and get anything, and also we're staying in places for an extended amount of time. You're going to be going to the grocery store a few times, and it's better if you always don't have to take a ride share to get there. The number one tip I can give if you're going to give full-time travel a try: on Airbnb or any travel platform is be flexible. Accommodations, plans, and expenses are never going to go 100% the way you planned, but your ability to pivot and create something new from an experience you didn't expect is going to make things so much more enjoyable. So please, leave room in your budget for mistakes. The last thing you want to do is be in a foreign country with no money in a place that you do not enjoy living. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helps you on your travel journey.